It's not quite prepared. I had a lot of my gear in the other room. So now I gotta quickly get set up in here. So my print did fail on my third mutant skeleton warrior. But the good news is I got it printing now. I bypassed the thing that checks for the spool running out, and now we got it going. All right. So let's see. Mantenna. Whoops. Well, that's not working. Man. All right. So I got some pictures here to look at. So let's go ahead and talk about this figure. Wow, no one's even on yet? At least it shows me 0 people are on. Hey, if you're on here, post something saying like, hey, yo, hey, Todd, or something, so I know that I'm not sitting here alone in my chair, in my room, all by myself. All by myself. Yes, I'm not the best singer in the world. Alright, I should check to make sure it's even public. Did I forget to click? Well, the people joining now. Hey, if you join me, sound off and say who, or, you know, say welcome or higher so I know we got people that can hear me.
Listen up.
Ah. There we go. There we go. Hooray. Okay, let's go and get going. So, we got this cool new Mantenna figure for Origins. And the here is Mantenna from the cartoon. If you guys remember seeing him. He looked kind of something like that. Let me turn this light off so you can see it. He had the yellow eyes and he had a small little mouth. Not like the mouth. Oops, hold on. I got an echo going on. Not like the mouth we see with the toys nowadays. So he had a mouth like that. And then the toy. Let's see. Here we go. Here's the old 80s toy. Ah. And you can see with his mouth looked like he had a spider sitting on his face. I mean, obviously it's supposed to be a black hole with the lines in it, but it always reminded me like a spider sitting on his face of some sort in these little pieces there. And it's funny is I was talking to my friend Jeff one time. We were at work one late night, and he was talking about his kids' He-Man action figures and how he named them and stuff. And one of the figures he called Sphinxtor Man. And I never knew what figure that was until I realized that this does look like, he even mentioned me, let's let the guy has a butt head. And it does look like that is the Sphinxtor from a human where his mouth is. It's like, wow. Mattel, what were you guys thinking? Now, one problem too with this figure in the past was he had 4 legs, but they were attached. So it was like only 2 legs that were just double wide. So never really had the cool 4 legs going on. He just had the double wide legs going on. So that was the old 80s figure. Now on his back, he had a button you would slide up and his eyes would go whoop and pop out at you as you would slide that button in and out. So that was kind of a cool, fun feature too. Now in the cartoon, he had the yellow eyes. Hey, Mike. Yes. Sphinxtor should be his name instead of Mantenna. Anyway, so there he is. So let's go ahead. He's got the starfish for the mouth, so turn my light back on. And let's look at the one from Classics. Now, Classics did a really cool update. And the update actually gave us 4 real separate legs, which was really cool. You can see they had a special piece made that held 4 legs instead of just 2. And it's pretty cool. I mean, this is a masterpiece of making a figure that shouldn't be made into a figure. He had a whole new torso piece, something I've never seen before. His arms were unique sculpts. His legs were unique sculpts. His, of course, midsection was unique. So it's pretty cool. Of course, his head was. His hands, of course, were reused hands. As you can see, we have Skeletor's hands on there. So that's kind of cool. And then his eyes were removable. So you can pull his eyes out. And what made that cool was we were really hoping that they would have made a special weapons pack that had eyes that were bloodshot like the old 80s toy. And that would have been really cool. The idea is they had eyes that were long and they could put the short eyes in there too. So that was why these eyes came out. So you can put the short eyes. Now, I do have the short eyes in here. But I never use them. I always leave them, the long eyes in there. But I think I actually bought a spare pair of eyes one time from somebody that was selling them. So I could actually paint some that were bloodshot like the original toy. I never got around to it though. Anyway, now he does not look as much Sphinxtor-ish because his mouth's actually open. Looks like some kind of, you know, crazy starfish thing, or not starfish, but some like the mouth of a starfish actually, I guess. Yeah, there you go. And I don't know. He doesn't look like a butt anymore, like you'd see like on the back of a cat or something. So Super 7, not Super 7, the 4 Horsemen did a really good job at remaking this figure. Now, when it came to Origins, which is what I'm going to open up here in a second, one thing that I really enjoy with this figure before I've even seen it is they actually did give it 4 separate legs in there. Now that is cool, and they didn't even sell it as a deluxe figure. So, good job, Mattel. I'm anxious to see how the eyes work for popping out, so it'll be kind of fun to check out and see how that works. Alright, in the back of the box, we have some cool artwork that we're getting more and more familiar and accustomed to. I have got to get a better stand for this. The stand used to work really good for this light, or for this camera, but it's just lately has not been functioning the way I want it to. And you can see he's blasting some snake men with his optic beams. Optic beams! Which I didn't know he had that optic beam technology. That's pretty cool. There was something in She-Ra. I forgot what it was. I seen him doing little eye rings one time. Whoop, whoop. I forgot what they did. Did they hypnotize? Did they actually blast? I don't know. Stop poking his eyes. He will go blind. Hey, Lewis. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Eric. That one I showed you before was the Classics one. And like I said, Classics, they did an awesome job on Classics. Alright, so there are other figures shown here, and they are He-Man 2000X, Mantenna, Skeletor 2000X, and Pighead. Now it shows in the back, you can push the... Oh, that's the button works. It's actually a sliding button. It goes up and down. I thought it might have been a push button on the top of his head. So that'll be kind of fun to see how that works. The nice part is, if his head's removable, it's all enclosed on the head. So hopefully it is. We'll find out when you pull out the instructions in a few minutes. Alright, let's go ahead and turn this around. Turn it around town. Let's see your guys' comments. Some guys paint his teeth and it looks way better. That sounds like a really good idea. Yeah, it still looks like a spider on his face because it's actually bulged out and not a hole. And we'll see that when you open it out of the box, that it's actually extruded out, not indented in. It's so strange. So strange. So it comes with the same comic book you've already seen a few times. I believe it's not going to have the words inside of it. Yep. No words. Well, his eyes are popping out there. What is going on there? It's like he has strange eyelash or surprised look. Boop! You can almost hear the sound. Boop! Oh man. Oh, there's his beam right there. Oh, and it does nothing. It's like a power sun man even more. The power of the sun. Can grab him by his eyes. What the heck? even if you could do that, that is just messed up. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Let's go ahead and can you take his head off? Oh yeah, the instructions. Let's take a look. And sure enough, according to his directions, his head does come off, his arms come off, his waist comes apart, and his boots come off. So if you want a lot of Horde boots, this is a quick way to get 4 sets of Horde boots to make your custom figures. Let's get him out of the box here. So he doesn't have any bands holding him in, so let's just... Oh, there's some bands on his arm right there. Oh, and his legs too. Man. Oh, my scissors are in the other room. I forgot I was cutting stuff in the other room. So we're going to have to just get him out of here the best we can. Break free, Mantenna. Woo! There we go. All right, that is so cool. I'm loving his 4 legs. That is the coolest. So let's talk about articulation. We have ankle joint, ankle joint, ankle joint, ankle joint. These boots are small, so I guess I was wrong. I would not want to use these boots for customizing because they are going to be a whole lot smaller. As you can see here. Well, you know what? Not really. I guess they are. His ankles are the same size as He-Man's. I just figured that they look so much smaller because they don't have the rim on top. But I guess that is the size of He-Man's ankles. All right. So then we have knee bends, knee twists. Looks like these are all built really well. And of course the legs move up here. And a little bit of extra plastic right there. You can see that or not. Right there is a small little chunk of plastic on his upper thigh and his front leg on the right. And that's about it. Cool. His waist turns, shoulders move. His elbow's a little stuck, but not bad. He's extremely glossy. Yep, that elbow moves too. And this hand moves. Let's go and try to pull his head off. 'Cause that's... Oh! Oh! That did not sound good. And his head comes off. Hooray. Look where they located it. It's towards the front a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. I have this thing zoomed up way too far. Hey, Leo X Rocks. It's fine that you're late. You can always go back and watch it later. I don't know why people always think when they're watching a live video they can only watch it live and can't watch it unless it's live. But it's okay to go back and watch live videos later. Well, one good thing, this guy is not going to fall over very easy. That is for sure. You can take a... Let's see how far back I can go before he loses his balance. Let's keep going. Keep going. Oh, right about there. All right, let's go ahead and try the eyes now. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, oh. What the heck? Oh, I see. It's just the light from my camera. I thought they were hollow holes. Well, they don't go as far as the 80s one used to, but they still... You can see there, it's just kind of a hinged deal. So the 80s used to come pretty far out when you would do it. So that's why his eyes are looking down in this one, because when you do the switch, then they look straight on. And of course, there's no way to get Sunman to grab his eyes right there. There's just not enough room. Ugh. I shall get your eyes. You really can't copy the comic very easily. All right, son, man, you can go back to your corner. All right, so there is the figure. I had one from the 80s to do a size comparison and show how far his eyes come out from the 80s version. But I do not. I've had a bunch in the past, and I've repainted a bunch of the eyes and then resold them. I remember painting these eyes so carefully, getting all... Usually, the biggest thing that happens to these figures is the eyes get all scratched. And then you have to repaint all those little squiggly red lines. And I started getting really good at using a red permanent marker to draw the squiggles back in. So I draw the white, put a white base paint on first that was dull, and then draw the eyes in with a red permanent marker, and then paint the black circles. And then I would put tape all around the figure's face and stuff, and then spray him with a nice clear coat. And so his eyes were shiny when they were done. Shiny. Yeah, see, look at the mouth. See, it's coming out. It's so weird. It's not a hole. There's no hole. Just looks like a spider sitting up there. You know, I should count the legs on there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 10. So it's not really a spider. If it had 8, it would definitely be a spider. Of course, maybe it's a spider with 2 antennae sticking out. So it looks like some spider just fell asleep on its mouth. Or some weird bug. He has some kind of tick disease. Oh, and he has the horde symbol on his chest. All right. Of course, the classics does rock. Now, I could have sworn Super 7 made a Mantenna. I went back and looked at my box, and it was just, it wasn't Mantenna, it was a Modulock that was sitting in there. But in my mind, for some reason, I thought they made a Mantenna. But maybe they did, I just didn't open them. I should go back and look at my box of Super 7 figures. Let's see. Leo X Rock says he looks like one of those old cartoons with the long eyes. Yeah, he kind of does. It's funny. You could make a 4-legged man from the Tick with this guy. You could. I got my stream to do soon, so I'll definitely watch this tonight. Great. Thanks for joining us, Radical Toys. It's more fun to watch it live. Yeah, it is. And I can answer your guys' comments. You guys could talk back and forth. Let's see. Lewis says, I want to find a way to make his eyes out all the time. Oh, Lewis, it's really easy, man. There's 2 ways to do it. One is to take this switch and literally just wrap it down under his head and around his neck with some kind of rubber band. See if I got one over here. That is probably one way to do it. Where are my rubber bands? I had a whole bunch before when I kept opening up figures. This guy has escaped from his pot to put him back in there. And I'll look for a rubber band in a moment once I get this guy back in his pot where he belongs. Back in your Grayskull pot. It's funny, somebody asked me what this is. My wife got it from me years ago. I don't know, 20, 30 years ago. And I used it with my other Castle Grayskull for years. Having this cool pot, and it has grapes on it and stuff, some kind of Italy thing. And it's just funny how close it is to the Grayskull colors. When she got it, I was like, that is so cool. There we go. There we go. I got my potted plant back in my Grayskull. All right, so back to fixing his eyes. And so let me look again for a rubber band. Guess I gotta stick that in there too. I really don't have it. I thought I saw one for a second. There was a crossbow, not a rubber band. An arm, a head, an MP3 player, remote control. Everything but a rubber band. Okay. I know where there might be one. You guys can stare at this guy's eyes for a minute while I find a way to pop his eyes out permanently. What? No rubber bands anywhere. How did that happen? Holy cow, I got 2 mosquitoes sitting over here. Alright, well, I can't find a rubber band, but you guys get the idea. Basically, you just take a rubber band, wrap it under this pin right here, and then around his neck, and then it should hold it in place. And that way, then you could also remove it later too if you wanted to. Another thing you could do is you could find something to clamp in on this side to hold it in place. I used to do that all the time. You find like a paper clip and shove it in the eye socket, and then it should hold the eyes from going back in as well. Let's see. Let me pull that head off again. Of course, the easiest way, if you didn't want to ever move it out again, you could just fill that hole full of epoxy and just stick it in the back, hold it in place, wait till it dries, and then the eyes would then stay out too. I was seeing how easy it is to pull his head apart. It's like it's made of hard plastic. All right, there's got to be something. I just got to find my... Nope, that's not going to work. See, even this would work. Just taking and jamming this rubber wedge in there and then cut it off. Ugh, would even work. Something as simple as that. Even easier than a rubber band. Just grabbing a wedge and jamming it in there. And then cut it off where you want it. And that will hold the switch in place. Actually, I aimed it down. Then it's easy to pull in and out too. Dude, stand. There you go. Quick fix. Yes, Grizzlord's gonna be really cool to get. His skin looks very dark blue. It does. It's a moss plant. Yes, see? And besides that, having a fresh plant inside Castle Grayskull is always a healthy option. That way he can, you know, have that fresh oxygen going on. If ever needs any wood, you can chop off a piece too. Yes. That's where Cringer does his business. Delax, let's see. Dorlaxin, that's funny. He just saw a hot girl. Yep. So, rethinking this, I probably wouldn't go with the rubber band. I'd go with the wedge. That works so much better. Just to take and shove a wedge in there. Or something in there just to keep it. I was going to use a paper clip, but I couldn't find one sitting around. But these little rubber wedges work great. And then literally, once you get it shoved in there, just cut it off. And if you cut it small enough, you won't even notice it. You know, I was also thinking too, you could coat this with heat shrink tubing. And then it would just be, you know what? I might just do that. Hold on, you guys. Hold up. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab some heat shrink tubing. We're going to do this thing really quick. Let's do this thing. Ow. Oh, you got your music going in the background. All right. I got my trusty heat gun. I was going to go with black heat shrink tubing, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to use the clear. This way I don't change the color of it. I also had some red heat shrink tubing, but the red is a whole lot different color red than that red. It's more red instead of orange red like that one is. All right. Okay. Let's see if we can't make this work. So if you coat this with heat shrink tubing, then when you put it down, it should cause some friction and not make it come back up as easy. We'll probably take two pieces to do it. I can already feel the friction on it already, just not one piece being on there. So let me go ahead and cut that to the length we want. And we'll shrink this first piece on, and then we'll shrink a second piece on. This is probably a much better way than the wedge or the rubber band, because now you can actually force it up or down. I'll move my iPad out of the way so I don't accidentally melt it with my heat gun. I always hate that when you melt your iPad with your heat gun. Mantenna, it's time for surgery. Oh! I'm melting his brain. There we go. Oh yeah, I can already feel some friction there. Now where did I stick that that piece I cut off? Hey, while we're at it, you can also put on his crossbow too. But you know, why in the world give him this big old hook right here when he has hands that could actually hold the crossbow? It makes no sense to me when the figures that actually have hands. Now it makes sense for like you know, the suction cup guy or whatever, but I don't know. All right. I know I cut that and put it somewhere. It's a bummer I can't rewind the video and look and see where I put it. All right, I guess I'll get a new piece. It stinks I had extra stuff left over in that piece. Slide on the next one. Do-do-do. Cut it off. Shink. See, it should have just fell right over there. I don't know where the heck I put it. All right, that should be enough. We'll see if that works. Still pretty hot. We gotta wait till it cools down before we can try it out. Hey Jinx Caliber, thanks for joining me. That's crazy, you're still missing your notifications. Yeah, after this video is over, I might make another one to break this guy out of his extra pieces there. It'll be kind of fun to do. Look how cool this G.I. Joe crossbow is. That is so much way cooler than the big old monster. Of course, this one seems to have more throw than the other ones. Let's see if I can blast this guy apart with this crossbow. The Skeksis coming after him. Ah! Okay. All right, here we go. Oh, we knocked him over, but didn't cause him to blast apart. But oh well, that's okay. Okay, it feels pretty cool now. Oh, there we go. 2 pieces of heat shrink tubing, and we are golden. You know, I just shove it down, and the force of the heat shrink tubing just leaves it down. So now his eyes can stick out all the time. All right, and then of course, when you want, you can then shove it back up. There we go. So that is how you can make your eyeballs stick out all the time, and put them back when you get tired of it, without gluing it or shoving crazy wedges in there or anything else. All right, hopefully I helped you out there, man. Michael Palmer. Who are we to judge that Mantenna has a little spider buddy that lives on his face? Have you ever shot rubber bands with the crossbow? I have not. It's a standard issue horde bow. I know. But sometimes they have different faces on them, and or different thicknesses across the back here. Even the 80s toys, you see different thicknesses across the back, depending on how it fit into their bicep. And so I just kind of wish that if they had a hand, they would just put it in their hand instead of attaching it to their wrist. But that's okay. And here's the power of the crossbow. Ka-chink. Just enough to knock a figure over. At short range. Really, really, really short range. I'd love to have the whole vintage A-Team line, actually, but oh boy. I didn't want to sell a kidney to do it. That's funny. Yes, that Mr. T does look cool. Mattel has a bad history of projectiles. Yes. See, the monster looks like he's in white slime. It kind of does. Yeah, that monster does look pretty cool when he still has all his support still on him. I can't wait to bust him out of here. He's actually standing differently than this one. I spent time to make it so that I have more than one stance. His feet are actually shifted, one forward, one back. His hands up or down. His head's higher. You can see his head's actually going up instead of down, so he actually looks like he's taller. But I actually just put his head, just moved it up so he's looking up a little bit instead of always crouched down. And so I'm really excited to see what he looks like once I pull him out of there. I want to fix his horn right here, which is pretty easy to do. As you can see, I had to fix the shoulder on this one. I just used my my little pen that I have. I loaded in the same material into the pen and just fixed the corner right here. The whole thing was hanging just like his horn is on the other one. But the new one that's printing should come out pretty good. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll bust him out of there in a little bit. Alright, well that's all I got for this video. I miss when toys were dangerous, though I played lawn darts as a kid. That turned out just fine. Alright, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video. Good journey. And now I'm starting to build my horde up. Which will go in a separate box just so I can keep it separate so I don't have to worry about getting rid of them. Dude, bend your elbow. That way you can have a little bit more range on your knockover bow. It can't be a crossbow because it doesn't really shoot anything. You know, if this was actually a living creature, these legs would like always be in your way. They're just too close together. You need some sort of spacing here, just to separate him out a little bit so you can run. Because you think about it, he tries to run, he'll just be tripping himself all the time. Oh, oh, oh! Mantenna, why are you down on the ground again? And then his little Sphinxtor face would come up. Ah! I actually am going to pull off the heat shrink tubing because I want it to be spring activated. So, there we go. Of course, I could slide it back on later if I choose to. See, that's a cool way to do it. Alright, back to original configuration. Oh, that's funny. So much cooler. Oh well, I'll stop complaining. I know, classics rock. Where is this crossbow? There it is. See, just like the original toy, they gave him a small little beanie thing on the back, and it's like his arm's not that small on this one. Oh, maybe it is. Oops, sorry. Got it zoomed up still. See, they gave the new ones a handle. Makes a lot more sense. Alright, until next time. Good journey. Let's check for a couple more questions before I leave, just in case there's something I missed. Yeah, if you haven't played long, you're gonna live. Where did your plant go? I got it right here. There it is. There's my plant in Castle Grayskull. He-Man's getting ready to chop off a chunk of wood because he needs it for the fireplace. Gotta keep those Grayskull fires burning. Alright. Bye now.